All right, welcome to my second rant of the day. I just got done watching Corporate Awesome's rants about him reviewing one of his favorite episodes of the Powerpuff Girls in honor of the show's 20th anniversary, Bubble Vicious and Pace Makes Waste. I pretty much enjoyed those two reviews. I pretty much enjoyed his two rants of him reviewing those episodes of the Powerpuff Girls. I hope he reviews more of them. So, I'm here to reminisce the good old days of wrestling again. About a wrestling pay-per-view that aired on this day 17 years ago. And this pay-per-view aired on a superstar of the WWF on their birthday. And I just did a rant about that superstar in honor of their birthday. We're going to find out who am I talking about in a moment. Even though you already saw that rant that I did a minute ago. And the pay-per-view that I'm going to be talking about that aired on this day 17 years ago. The 2001 WWF Vengeance. The last WWF pay-per-view of 2001. Man, this brings back so many memories. I was in the 5th grade when this pay-per-view aired. And it was basically focusing on the 3-match tournament for the WWF Championship and the World Championship, formerly known as the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Determine who will become the first ever undisputed World Wrestling Federation champion. And this was the last Vengeance pay-per-view, not just from the Attitude Era, but under the World Wrestling Federation branding, months before the company had to change their name to World Wrestling Entertainment, due to them losing a lawsuit to another WWF company, which is an animal organization, the World Wildlife Fund. Just like I mentioned in my last rant about Survivor Series in honor of its 17th anniversary. So, without wasting any more time, let's get right into these matches of the 2001 WWF Survivor Series. Now, as usual, before an actual pay-per-view airs, the first match of that pay-per-view is the kickoff show that aired on Sunday Night Heat on MTV. And it was a tag team match between the APA, Ron Simmons and JBL, better known by their ring names Bradshaw and Farouk, versus Billy Gunn and Chuck Palumbo, or Billy and Chuck. And it pretty much doesn't say how did that match end. All it does says right here is the APA defeated Billy and Chuck in that tag team match on Sunday Night Heat. Like I said, I miss Sunday Night Heat. That's where all the kickoff shows would air on Sunday Night Heat 30 minutes before the actual pay-per-view airs. So here's the first match of the 2001 WWF Survivor Series. Another tag team match. Albert and Scotty 2 Hotty versus Christian and R.I.P. Tess. So, Albert and Scotty 2 Hotty was already attacking Christian and Edge before the match got started. Scotty 2 Hotty dominated in the beginning, but Tess soon tagged in. Albert, who's the same height as Tess, and you know Albert and Tess used to be tag team partners known as T and A. Albert and Scotty 2 Hotty double teamed Tess before Christian attacked Scotty 2 Hotty. Tess and Christian took the opportunity and assaulted Scotty and prevented him from tagging in Albert. Scotty fought them out and tagged in Albert. Albert dominated both Christian and Tess and set Christian up for a Baldo bomb, and Tess pulled Albert out of the ring. Sky Too Hotty hit Christian with a bulldog and did his finishing move, the worm, and knocked Christian down. Christian tried to hit the worm, but Albert stopped him. Tess made the save by hitting Albert with the big boot. Scotty hit a bulldog on Tess and hit him with his finishing move, the worm. Christian tried to hit Scotty with his finishing move, the unprettier, but Albert hit Christian with the Baldo bomb for the victory. Albert and Scotty Too Hotty won against Christian and Tess. I actually wanted Scotty Too Hotty and Albert to win, and I'm so glad they won that match. Then the next match for the 2001 WWF Vengeance was William Regal versus Edge for the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Championship. So Edge had the advantage showing his speed. However, William Regal threw Edge out of the ring and knocked him against the barricade. In the ring, William Regal hit Edge with a series of European uppercuts and reversed a sunset flip into a knee drop. Edge fought back and got several near falls before William Regal knocked Edge with a former smash, but Edge kicked Regal to the outside. And as the referee was distracted, William Regal tried to cheat by using those damn brass knuckles and try to knock out Edge and become the new World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Championship. And William Regal you failed to beat Edge and become the new World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Championship, even though you knocked out Edge with those brass knuckles that was hitting into his tights. William Regal hits Edge with the Regal bomb, a power bomb, and 2 underhook suplexes. Regal then hit Edge with a series of brutal kicks, and when the referee turned around, he took out William Regal's brass knuckles. Edge immediately speared William Regal, and then 1, 2, 3. Edge wins the match and retained his Intercontinental Championship. Yeah, that's what you get, William Regal, for trying to cheat using those brass knuckles on Edge. And I knew you was going to get caught. I'm so glad Edge won that match and retained his Intercontinental Championship. Oh boy, you guys won't believe what was the next match after the Edge versus William Regal match. Brother versus brother, Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy, with Lita as the special guest referee. I really don't know how this feud with Jeff and Matt Hardy all started. So I really don't know whose idea was it for them to have Matt and Jeff go against each other with Lita as a special guest referee, but that's what it says. Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy, brother versus brother, with Lita as the special guest referee. So, in the beginning, the two, Matt and Jeff Hardy, had several reversals until Matt got in control. Jeff sidestepped when Matt attempted a driving leg drop. Jeff hit a falling headbutt and a clothesline. Jeff went on to deliver a diving leg drop of his own. Jeff went to the top rope, but Matt trapped him in a tree of woe. Matt then applied the sunset flip, which Jeff countered, and both men were lying outside of the ring. The match pretty much ended when Matt attempted a pinfall on Jeff, trying to cheat using the ropes, but Lita ordered him to break it up. Really, Matt Hardy? You want to try to cheat using the ropes, pinning Jeff Hardy? And I'm glad that Lita caught you trying to use the ropes and win this match. You know what they say, cheaters never win. Jeff Hardy went to the top rope again, but Matt caught him and hit him with the twist of fate. Then Jeff forced Matt off and hit with the Swanton Bomb. Matt tried to get his feet on the ropes, but Jeff pulled him off, and thank God, Jeff Hardy beat his big brother Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy, you try to cheat using the ropes while pinning Jeff Hardy, and you failed to win the match trying to cheat using the ropes while you had Jeff Hardy pinned, and I'm glad you got caught by your ex-girlfriend Lita. Congratulations, Jeff Hardy. I'm so glad you beat your big brother Matt in this match. The next match was for the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championship. The Dudley Boys versus The Big Show and Kane. This seemed like an interesting match. So Kane dominated in the beginning and tagged in The Big Show. The Big Show also dominated as he attempted a chokeslam. Bubba Ray held the ropes and raked the eyes like this. He raked the eyes of The Big Show. Devon tagged in but received a sidewalk slam from The Big Show. Then The Big Show hit Devon with a series of hip attacks. Kane and The Big Show dominated in the ring, knocking the Dudleys out of the ring. Kane went to the top rope and jumped to the outside, knocking out both Bubba Ray and Devon. And then Stacy Keibler was trying to stick her nose into The Big Show and Kane's business, but The Big Show snuck up behind Stacy Keibler and pulled down her skirt, which was really hilarious. And I assumed that Jerry the King Lawler was screaming his butt off. The Dudley Boys hit Kane with a double suplex and started working on him. Then gave Kane a diving headbutt low blow and a series of double team maneuvers. They set Kane up for the 3D, but Kane kicked Devon in the head and hit Bubba Ray with a clothesline. Kane tagged in The Big Show, who tried to chokeslam Devon, but Bubba Ray hit him with a chop block. Kane tried to hit Devon with a flying clothesline, but accidentally hit The Big Show. The Dudley Boys fell to the outside while Kane and Big Show were arguing in the ring. The Dudley Boys then hit The Big Show with a hot shot onto an exposed turnbuckle, and then 1, 2, 3. The Dudley Boys win the match and retain their World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championships. I mean, the match was going great until Stacy Keibler tried to stick her nose into Kane and The Big Show's business. And it was funny when The Big Show snuck behind Stacy Keibler and pulled down her skirt. And if it wasn't for The Big Show and Kane arguing in the ring, I'm sure they would have won this match and became the new World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions. But whatever. Next match. Rob Van Dam versus The Undertaker for the World Wrestling Federation Hardcore Championship. Earlier in the match, RVD hit The Undertaker with a top rope somersault. Undertaker crotched RVD on the top rope and knocked him to the outside. He tried to drive him into the ring post, but RVD reversed and knocked him, The Undertaker, into the ring post. RVD attacked The Undertaker with the barricade and tried to hit a body press, but The Undertaker punched him. And before I go any further, you know when it comes to the Hardcore Championship match, there's no countouts, no disqualifications, anything goes. The Undertaker tossed him over a railing and choked RVD on the floor. The Undertaker tried to use a steel chair, but RVD hit him with a fire extinguisher. He hit The Undertaker's head with a trash can and a flying crossbody. They fought on a stage where RVD hit a somersault leg drop. The Undertaker drove RVD's head on the stage and attempted a last ride, but RVD held on to the stage. Excuse me, that's my phone. I'm getting text messages. The Undertaker went backstage and came back with a chair, but RVD kicked it, hitting The Undertaker with a Rolling Thunder on the stage and a chair surf. He tried to hit a Van Daminator, but missed, and The Undertaker hit him with the chair. Then chokeslammed RVD off the stage through a set of tables, and then The Undertaker won and became the new World Wrestling Federation champion. And this was also The Undertaker's first and only WWF Hardcore Championship reign. So the next match was a women's match for the World Wrestling Federation Women's Championship. Soon to be birthday girl and my favorite WWE diva of all time, Trish Stratus versus Jacqueline. I'm not going to really explain how this match got started and how did it ended. If you remember watching this pay-per-view 17 years ago, then you know Trish Stratus retained her World Wrestling Federation Women's Championship. I'm telling you, not all, but some divas cannot beat Trish Stratus. You know why? Because Trish Stratus is obviously the best diva of all time in the WWE. She is a 7-time WWE Women's Champion. And she's a WWE Hall of Famer. There's no other diva better than Trish Stratus. But we did have some other great divas like Stacy Keibler, Tori Wilson, Terry Runnels, Ivory, etc. and Sable. But Trish Stratus won against Jacqueline and retained her World Wrestling Federation Women's Championship. Now we definitely get to the main event, the 3-match tournament for the World Wrestling Federation Championship and the World Championship determine who will be the undisputed World Wrestling Federation Champion. So the first match of the tournament was Birthday Boy Kurt Angle versus Stone Cold Steve Austin for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. So in the beginning, both Stone Cold and Kurt Angle applied holds. Then Stone Cold took advantage and pounded Kurt Angle. The two had a test of strength and Kurt Angle applied the ankle lock. Stone Cold kicked out of the hold and applied an arm lock followed by an eye rake, which is this, a rake to the eyes. He choked Kurt Angle in the ropes and attacked in his biceps. Stone Cold threw Kurt Angle into the ring post 3 times, injuring the left side of Kurt Angle's torso. In the ring, Stone Cold used an armbar takedown on Kurt Angle's injured left shoulder. Then Kurt Angle applied the ankle lock on Stone Cold. Stone Cold reached the ropes and Kurt Angle broke the hold. Stone Cold followed by knocking Kurt Angle's head on the announce table. Then Kurt Angle wrapped Stone Cold's leg around the ring post and applied the ring post figure 4 leg lock. Back in the ring, Kurt Angle applied the ankle lock, but Stone Cold rolled through. Kurt Angle hit Stone Cold with the belly-to-belly suplex and 3 German suplexes. He missed the moonsault and Stone Cold was able to take advantage, hitting Kurt Angle with the Lopez press and a spinebuster. Stone Cold gave Kurt Angle 5 German suplexes. But while on the ropes, Kurt Angle tried to cheat, hitting Stone Cold Steve Austin with a low blow and then hit him with the angle slam. Then he tried to hit Stone Cold with his own finishing move, the Stone Cold Stunner, but Stone Cold reversed and hit Kurt Angle with his own finishing move, the Stone Cold Stunner. And then 1, 2, 3. Stone Cold Steve Austin wins the match and retains his World Wrestling Federation Championship. And mind you, this wasn't the first time that Kurt Angle and Stone Cold fought each other for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. This was like the 4th time they fought each other for that championship. The first time they fought each other for the World Wrestling Federation Championship was at the 2001 SummerSlam. Kurt Angle won by disqualification and Stone Cold retained his championship. Then the second time they fought for the World Wrestling Federation Championship was at the 2001 Unforgiven. And I believe Kurt Angle won that match and became the new World Wrestling Federation champion. But Stone Cold got the title back on the October 8th, 2001 episode of Monday Night Raw, thanks to William Regal turning on Kurt Angle and joining the WWF and joining the Alliance. Now the 4th time was this pay-per-view. I'm glad Stone Cold Steve Austin won that match and retained his World Wrestling Federation Championship. Then the second match of this tournament was, of course, Chris Jericho versus The Rock for the World Championship. And this was actually a great match between Chris Jericho and The Rock. I actually wanted The Rock to win this match. It was going great until Vince McMahon had to come out and stick his nose into The Rock's business, preventing The Rock from winning this match and retaining his World Championship. Really, Vince McMahon? You may be the owner of this company, but just like at WrestleMania 17, you had the audacity to come out and stick your nose into The Rock's business during his championship match. So, The Rock had enough of Vince McMahon sticking his nose into his business. He began laying the smackdown on Vince McMahon, and he was about to hit Vince McMahon with the rock bottom, but Chris Jericho hits The Rock with a low blow, and then hits The Rock with his own finishing move, the rock bottom. And then 1, 2, 3. Chris Jericho beat The Rock and became the new world champion. Then it was down to the last match of the tournament. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes back out to wrestle Chris Jericho until birthday boy Kurt Angle comes out and attacks him. Really, Kurt Angle? You lost your opportunity to beat Stone Cold for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. What else do you want? Then The Rock hit Chris Jericho with a rock bottom and he sees Kurt Angle and then he starts chasing Kurt Angle. And Kurt Angle want to run like a coward and not fight like a man on his own birthday. What you running for, birthday boy Kurt Angle? What you running for? You're the one that came out and attacked Stone Cold Steve Austin after you failed to beat him for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. Now you want to run like a coward instead of fighting like a man on your own birthday. So then the bell finally rung and the match was underway. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Chris Jericho on who will become the first ever undisputed World Wrestling Federation champion. And the match, it was definitely going great until Vince McMahon came out again and stuck his nose, this time in Stone Cold Steve Austin's business. And I believe Stone Cold, he hit Vince McMahon with a low blow and starts attacking him. And hits Chris Jericho with a Lopez press. And he was using Chris Jericho in his own finishing move, the Walls of Jericho. Chris Jericho was tapping out, but referee Earl Hebner was down. And you won't believe who came out of nowhere and hit Stone Cold Steve Austin with the World Wrestling Federation Championship belt. If you remember watching this pay-per-view, it was H-Town's own Booker T. Really, Booker T? You want to come out and stick your nose into Stone Cold Steve Austin's business, hitting him with the World Wrestling Federation Championship belt when he had this match won? And I thought that Booker T got fired after Team Alliance lost to Team WWF at the 2001 Survivor Series. Vince McMahon brought Earl Hebner back into the ring, and then Earl Hebner was counting slow like this. 1, 2, 3. Chris Jericho wins the match and became the first ever undisputed WWE champion. But I have to give Chris Jericho credit. Even though I wanted The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin to win, Chris Jericho definitely deserves this victory, beating two of my favorite wrestlers from the Attitude Era in one night to win the first ever undisputed World Wrestling Federation Championship. He beat The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was actually a great match. And I believe Chris Jericho's run as the undisputed World Wrestling Federation Champion was underrated. Even though he lost it to Triple H at WrestleMania 18, it was fun while it lasted. His reign as the undisputed World Wrestling Federation Champion was fun while it lasted. And Chris Jericho definitely celebrated after he won that match. And woo, this was definitely a great pay-per-view. 2001 WWF Vengeance. So with that being said, that pretty much wraps up my rant celebrating 17 years of the 2001 WWF Vengeance. This was definitely a great pay-per-view in my opinion. And this was back when pay-per-views like this was rated TV 14. And I definitely missed those days when these pay-per-views was rated TV 14. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this WWF Vengeance pay-per-view looking back on it 17 years later? What were your favorite matches of this pay-per-view? And what are your thoughts about Chris Jericho winning both the WWF and World Championship, becoming the first ever undisputed World Wrestling Federation champion? Thumbs up if you liked this video. Thumbs down if you didn't. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. Click on the notification bell for any video that I upload. And I will catch you tomorrow about my thoughts of the rematch between the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. Don't follow your dreams, chase them. Peace. Happy 17th anniversary to the 2001 WWF Vengeance. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.